Hello there, how are you? This is Lois Gidiga. Welcome back to my channel. I just want to start with being so grateful. I just want to say thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. The subscribers are growing by the numbers, and I really appreciate that. So we started just a few months ago, and we are now surpassing the 1,000 subscriber mark. So I'm really delighted. Thank you. I just wanted to say that. Um, Anyway, tonight I want to talk about something that maybe we should be talking about: finances with regards to immigration to Canada. And in particular today, a lot of people send me emails, or when I do consultation, I think this question has been coming up a lot during my consultations. And I feel that maybe this is not something that I need to be spending a lot of time on a paid consultation. So I want to give you this information. It's on the website. I know a lot of people don't know how to figure out that government website. It's a lot of information. It can be quite intense, but believe you me, that website has everything. So if you have time, it's always a good thing to go through that website. But anyway, that's why I'm here, so that I can break down some of those the issues. I can also break things down for you in a way that everybody can understand. And I know there's a lot of people who know where to get this information, but people keep asking me, how much does it cost to come to Canada? And I know I tell people there's no one fee, there's no flat fee. And people also ask me another question. They ask me, how much do you charge people to file their applications? And again, I also tell people, even in that, there's no flat fee. But I'm not here to talk about my fees. I am here to talk about the amount of money that you need to show when you want to immigrate to Canada. And tonight, in particular, we're just going to focus on the express entry, simply because the fees depend on classes as well. So you're going to find that the fee for express entry could be different from a fee for provincial nomination, which could also be different from the fee for maybe a rural northern immigration, or even a student, even for a visa, a visitor visa. So everything has its own price. So today we are concentrating on the express entry. So you want to prepare. I tell people coming to Canada or just immigrating to any country is going to be one of your biggest decisions that you're going to make in your lifetime. It's a major decision. It's just like getting married, because you're leaving your comfort, you're leaving home, you're going away, you're going to start life afresh. So it's a major decision that needs a lot of planning, major planning, and it's not easy. I have told people it's doable. People have done it. It's doable. It's not easy, but you need to have a very good plan. And among the things you need to plan for, I tell people, make a strategy. Don't just wake up and make knee-jerk reactions and decisions that, you know what, I want to go to Canada tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. You need to plan your life. You need to say, I'm giving myself, so I want to immigrate to Canada maybe in a year's time or in 6 months' time. So give yourself time to plan. Give yourself time to figure out everything, just so that then you have all your ducks in a row. And finances is going to be the biggest thing that you have to nail. So yes, you have qualified, or you know that you have the education, you're of the right age for express entry, and now there's that finance part. How much is it gonna cost you, like for an individual, like just a single person? So this is in the preparation level. And you're also going to find that the fee that I'm going to quote here is going to differ, because I'm talking of one person. Every case is different. Every person has a different case, a different scenario. Your family dynamics are different. So maybe you're single, or you're a couple, or you're a family with children. Your fees are going to differ depending on the size of the family. But let us see, what are you supposed to be preparing for? To start with, you're going to need a passport. You know that. You cannot leave your country without a passport. And you're going to see that the rates that I'm going to quote today, this video is more geared to people in Nairobi because I know about the Kenya shillings. My clients in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Cameroon, and in other countries, you may want to translate this to your local currency. Unfortunately, I don't have all the local currencies, and I cannot be able to do this in all the local currencies, but it's a guide. But mostly it's for the people in Nairobi because I'm going to be quoting Canadian dollars and Kenya shillings. Just a differentiator there, the Canadian dollar is different from the American dollar, okay? And I'll be using the exchange rate of $80 per Kenya shilling. So that is going to differ, but I'm just going to use that for the purpose of this video. You're going to find a difference from day to day depending on the market, depending on the bank. But again, for the purpose of this video, we're going to take 1 Canadian dollar to the equivalent of 80 Kenya shillings. So what are we talking about? So you're going to need a passport. I think a passport in Nairobi, you're going to forgive me here. To get a passport in Nairobi, I'm thinking it's around 150 Canadian dollars in Nairobi. So that is about 12,000 Kenya shillings, okay? That is the first thing you're going to need. Then, of course, you know, for express entry, you're going to need your ECAs, that is your Education Credential Assessments. And to do that, you're going to get your transcripts from your university. You're going to send them either to WES or any other organization that does credential assessment. And that is going to have costs that pertain to courier fees and their processing fee. And I'm going to give an average of the amount of money you're going to use for that. So for ECAs, you're going to spend around $350, give or take. This is not written on stone, so please don't come to me and say, Lois, you said that we're going to pay $350. Come on, no. This is just a scenario, and I'm just saying give or take. So you're talking, you're looking at maybe 350 Canadian dollars to do your ECAs, and that is approximately 28,000 Kenya shillings. So the bill is rising here. The other thing you're going to need in your preparation, this is before you create your profile, before you create that express entry profile. These are the things you need. So you're going to need your IELTS, of course. So for IELTS, I tell people, make sure you're prepared to do your IELTS exam. There's a lot of knobs that come into play when you go to do that exam. But please prepare because it's costly, and it's done at the British Council. I did another video the other day about language in regards to Canadian immigration. So you're going to do your IELTS test at the British Council. It's in Nairobi. I think it's still at Upper Hill. If things haven't changed, that is where I did my IELTS maybe 10 years ago. So it's about 310. I think it's 310 Canadian dollars to do your IELTS. So you're looking at, again, there you're looking at 24,820 Kenya shillings. So just those three. And you know what? If you don't get the minimum requirement for the IELTS, that is for the language eligibility, if you do not get that, you need to resit. So to resit, you're also going to be paying a lot of money. I tell people, do not go for the minimum requirement. You need to be aiming for the highest band possible. So if they say that you need a band 7, please, my dear, you're better off focusing on a band 9, just so that then you're maximizing on the points you will get on the language. I'm not going to talk about language anymore, but you're going to see that as an individual, you as the principal applicant in the express entry, you will see that just for transcripts, for ECA, for your passport and your IELTS, you are going to need $810 Canadian dollars, and that is about 64,820. So You need that before you create your profile. The other thing that is really, really, really important and actually plays a big role in your admissibility. Remember, we talked about eligibility and admissibility. To be admissible, one of the things you need is to have funds, to show that you have funds that can help you settle in Canada when you come here. And for that purpose, this amount of money is dependent on the family size. So you need to show this money in cash. This is money that needs to be in your bank account when you create that profile. All right? Yes. You're not going to show your land title, you're not going to show your house title or your car title. No, this is money in the bank or money that you have saved somewhere in your name, and you also need to be able to show where you got that money from, just so that we are not they want to make sure that that money is not gotten in a fraudulent way, so it's good to have a money trail, a backup evidence that shows where your money came from. That said, how much money do you need to show in your bank account? For one single person, you need to show that you have 12,960 Canadian dollars. Okay? That is about 1,036,800 Kenya shillings. That is just for one person. And this is why I'm saying you need a lot of preparation. And I'll talk about how to prepare, because my clients get into this issue all the time. For a family of two, assuming you're just a couple, you're going to need 16,135, and that is about 1.2 million Kenya shillings. Assuming you're a family of three, you'll need 19,836. That is about 1.5 million. A family of four, you're going to need $24,883, and that is about 1.9 million Kenya shillings. For a family of five, assuming you're a husband and three children, you'll need to show that you have $27,000, 315, and that is about 2.1 million Kenya shillings. For a family of six, you will need 30,806 Canadian dollars, and that is the equivalency of 2.4 million Kenya shillings. If you're a family of seven, I'm not going to go beyond seven. If you're a family of seven, you need to show that you have 34,299, which is the equivalency of 2.7 million Kenya shillings. So, remember when I talked about the irony of immigration? I said this, and this is my opinion. I keep saying this, it's my opinion. That when people are young, Canada wants young people, it wants rich people, it wants healthy people, it wants educated people. But young people could be educated, they could be skillful. One thing that young people lack mostly is money, is finances. And when they struggle with finances, that kind of breaks their dreams. I cannot tell you the number of people who listen, like they have masters, they're working, but then again, they cannot trace this kind of money. I tell people, you can always work around this. Work with your parents. People I know, I come from Kenya. I have seen this. People work. You can dispose of a property. Just make sure that you're doing it strategically. Plan on how to get your money. Work with your family. Work with your parents. If you have siblings abroad, work with them, just so that you can have money in your bank account. They can loan you money. You can have this money. Make sure you have it in the account for a while and you can account for that money. Then you are able to achieve your goal, because money is one thing that comes between people's dreams, especially the immigration dreams, simply because you do not, maybe you're a young person, or maybe you're just a young couple, you got married fine, you got the master's degree, you got everything else, you got good language, but then you don't have the 2 million Kenya shillings that you need to show in your bank account. So always work early, work smart, be very strategic. Okay? Work with your families. Work with your families, work with your friends. You can always save. Save in advance. So if you're planning to come to Canada, start saving your money so that you have enough funds for this. The other irony that I talked about the other day is, and it's very unfortunate, when people are young and they got you got that bank job, or you got whatever job you're doing, and you're earning your 150 200,000 Kenya shillings. You are earning that. People feel like, oh, you know what, I have arrived, there's no need of leaving this country. And fine, it's good, I know it's good money, you can have a good life with it. But what happens later on, mostly, especially if you have that immigration bag, what happens to you is when you feel like you've reached your limit, you don't know what else to do, you feel like you want to explore what is out there, then unfortunately, because you're excited with the money when you're younger, now you're gonna get to 35 to 40 when you feel like, oh my goodness, this money is not enough, it can't do anything, it's just paying school fees, and it's just coming through this hand and going out through the other, and you feel like that money now is no longer enough, 200 or whatever, 200,000 Kenya shillings a month, and you feel like now you've reached your limit, you don't know what else to do, you don't know where to go, now you want to immigrate. Unfortunately, at that time now, when you're coming to look at the express entry, you cannot qualify because age has kicked you out. So it's a balance, it's knowing exactly what you want and planning to do, planning around that. So plan these things while you're still young. Work with your families. When you're younger, it's easier to work with your parents. It's easy for your parents to dispose a piece of land. Anyway, that is all I'm gonna talk about. I'm gonna say about proof of funds that you need to show in your bank account. All that money you need to show before. That is the money you need to show before you apply, before you create your express entry profile. After application, you still need more money, my friend. So after application, you should be ready to pay medicals. That is in case you're successful and you need to apply for your PR. You should be ready to pay medicals, and the medicals are done by IOM. They are in Gigiri. They are the designated body that performs immigration medicals, I think for Canada, US, Australia. I don't know for what other country, but I know they are the designated body that performs immigration medicals. So they have various fees depending on age. I think when you're under 11, you pay $135. When you're between 11 and 15 years, you pay 160 Canadian dollars. I could be wrong. And over 15, you pay $265 for your immigration medicals. So as an adult, you're looking at paying around 21,200 Kenya shillings. That is for medicals. So if you're a family of 4, please multiply that by 4 if you're over 15, or if you're under 15, please calculate accordingly. So you see, as a family of 4 who are all and over 15, you're looking at 21,000 Kenya shillings by 4. So that is about 85,000 Kenya shillings for medicals alone. Again, so you're happy, you're successful, you've passed medicals. Come on, you're gonna need to fly here. So you also need to factor in the flight. And I think I jumped the gun there. So when you're applying for permanent residence, there is a government fee that you're going to pay for permanent residence application, and that is the processing fee plus right of landing fee. And the processing fee, PR processing fee, this is just government fee that you cannot evade. The PR fee is 550 Canadian dollars, and the right of landing is 490. So for an adult, you're looking at paying 1040, that is 1040 Canadian dollars. When you translate that into Kenya shillings, it's about 83,200 Kenya shillings per person. So if you're a couple, then you should multiply that by 2. If you have children, fortunately only pay 150 Canadian dollars. So that is about 12,000 Kenya shillings. Okay, then we go to the final part, which is, I think, the most fun part. So you've shown all this, you've jumped all the hoops, and now it's time to come to Canada. Of course, you're going to need a one-way flight, and a one-way flight, depending on the season. If you're coming at high season, you could be paying more. If you're coming on low season, you would be paying around $1,000 for a one-way flight to get you to Toronto. And I'm just giving you an example of Toronto. Maybe I should have given you an example of coming to Calgary because I live in Calgary. Anyway, so if you're landing in Toronto or anywhere in Eastern Canada, you could be looking at about $1,000, and that is about 80,000 Kenya shillings for one-way flight per person. So if you're a family of 4, please multiply that by 4. Come on. So there's something else that I did not mention, simply because some people, if you're computer savvy, if you're really smart, if you like doing research and due diligence, and if you trust your own mistakes, people do these applications on their own. So if you're doing the application on your own, you're not going to pay anybody. You're not going to pay me. You're not going to pay a lawyer. You're not going to pay anybody to help you with your application. So the application fee is, as in the professional fee, is 0. Okay, so in case you want to engage the services of a professional, a paid professional, whether it's an immigration consultant or whether it's an immigration lawyer, you're looking at paying between $2,000 to up to $5,000. So depending on who you get and, their deal, So assuming you are paying maybe around $2,500 for your application, or about $3,000, just be ready to pay somewhere between 160,000 Kenya shillings up to 400,000 Kenya shillings for the processing. But then that fee, I say that is that is optional. It depends. Do you want to hire somebody or do you want to do it for yourself? So I've talked about a lot of money. This is just a quick summary. So a single person who wants to apply for PR through the express entry, this is how much you need. Again, I'm just going to do, I have a quick short summary here. So you're going to need proof of funds, that is 1 million Kenya shillings. For the documentation, that is transcripts, passports, the IELTS, ECA. To do that, you need about 64,820. For medicals, you need 21,200. Application fee, you're going to need 83,200. For the flight, you will need 80,000 Kenya shillings. And without the professional fee, you are looking at 1.286. Did I just say that? Sorry. It's 1.2 million Kenya shillings. So that is the amount. Or actually, I think I downplayed that. You need about 1.3 million Kenya shillings. So that is the money that you need as an individual, as one person, a single person who wants to pursue express entry. And that is less, that is not inclusive of a professional fee. If you want to hire someone like me or somebody else to do it for you, who charges their professional fee to do that for you, that is not inclusive of that. If you want to include professional fees, then now you can add about 200,000 Kenya shillings. So you're looking at about 1.5 all inclusive. And I'm not saying that is written on stone. There's going to be other miscellaneous fees that you're going to pay here and there. There could be couriers here and there, and a few other things that you need to take care. Of course, you're going to take passport photos, stuff like that. So you're going to do, if you need a notarization on your documents, of course, you may need some legal fees here and there. So, but that is a quick summary of how much you need as a single person to come to Canada through the express entry. Without the professional fees, you need about 1.3 million Kenya shillings. And that is money that you cannot avoid. You cannot avoid that. So what that means is that you are going to need to prepare yourself early. Prepare. I say you can never over prepare when you're making such a big decision. The other thing is, people call me, and when they hear me, they're like, oh my goodness, why is it so expensive? Because immigration is expensive. Immigration is really expensive. So I'm gonna talk about how much money you need as a student in Canada. So I'll do that breakdown for you, not necessarily in my next video, but I'll do that video quite soon. Okay, thank you so much for keeping it here. Thank you for subscribing. Please subscribe, share this information with your friends. I will be giving all the details, any details regarding Canadian immigration. So keep it here, stay tuned. Thank you so much. It's good night for me. I hope you have a good day wherever you are. Bye now.